Oh, naturally that happens.
Who is this guy, you might be asking? Is he a vlogger? Is he a wrestler? Well, this guy goes by many names, like Johnny Collins, Colin John O'Connell, or even by his government name, Johnny Pretty Boy Collins.
You could call me Colin. That is technically my government name.
Well, if you answered yes to if he's a vlogger, yes, he vlogs on YouTube.
Originally, it was just to document my wrestling career. That was my original reason for making YouTube videos, for making content. But as I got older and as I matured and became more comfortable with myself and my story, I started making YouTube videos to share my story with other people as a cancer survivor, and just try my best to spread hope and spread positivity to others, and ultimately, hopefully, inspire some people. So yeah, that's sort of the answer to that.
Colin started like any other vlogger. He started at 0 subscribers, but as time went on, and the more vlogs that were put out, the more people subscribed. And he hit a milestone recently when he hit 50,000 subscribers.
Howdy.
I did it.
What, 50,000?
I hit 50,000.
Get out of town. Dad, Colin got 50,000 viewers so far. Holy
Yeah, for me, 50,000 is just like a number, right? Like it doesn't really like mean much. What I look at the 50,000, let me rephrase that. I take the perspective of I have the potential to tell my story to 50,000 people, and I can potentially positively impact 50,000 people. And to me, that's like mind-blowing, and that's the coolest part, I think, is being able to sort of share what I've been through and share my perspective on life to 50,000 plus at this point, 50,000 people. You know, it's really cool.
Some YouTubers like Colin have uprising YouTube channels, and some of them realize and some of them don't realize when their YouTube channels are taking off.
It didn't happen right away. I noticed by the end of maybe 2 weeks that I had gained, I believe the exact number was 1,200 plus subscribers every day. And I was like, how did this happen? What is going on? So it was sort of over a longer period of time that I realized, like, oh man, I'm doing something here. Yeah, so it didn't happen right away, but it was sort of like, once I caught it, I was like, oh yeah, we got it. And I just kept pushing, I just kept going, and I kept working, honestly, harder than I was working before. And I just kept the momentum going.
Well, Colin has a friend that has been appearing more and more in his vlogs lately. And it's a drone?
So for me, Buzz is nothing more than just like a cinematic tool, right? Like he adds to the story, whatever that story is, and ultimately it helps sort of just add an extra cinematic effect to my videos. So Buzz is nothing more than just a tool that I use in my videos to sort of further whatever narrative I'm trying to put forth in my vlogs.
Well, if you said yes to if Colin is a wrestler, you were in fact also correct. Colin wanted to be a professional wrestler, but why?
So I think it was because my mom just showed me wrestling one night. Like we used to have like date nights on Friday night, my mom and I, and we would watch Friday Night SmackDown. I wasn't allowed to watch Monday Night Raw. Any wrestling fans out there, you know why? Because in like 2005, 2006, Raw was just like not appropriate for 6-year-olds. Anywho, my mom showed me wrestling, and the second I saw it, I was hooked, and I was like, that's what I want to do. So I think my mom really got me into it, and I just, from then on, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Every pro wrestler's dream is to win a championship, and Colin, who goes by in-ring name Johnny Collins, did just that.
It was awesome. For me, it was, I had a lot of people that told me that, like, being a wrestler was stupid and that I couldn't do it. So, but I also had a lot of people that supported me. So for me, winning those championships was like, it didn't matter that I was proving those haters wrong. It mattered to me that I was proving myself and everybody that believed in me right. So it was a really cool moment. It was really cool. For both championship wins, my mom was in the crowd, and I know I mentioned my mom before. She's like my biggest fan. So it meant so much to me to be able to like hold those titles up and like look at my mom and be like, "Hey mom, I did it." Like, you know, you believed in me and I did it. So it was cool. It was a really cool moment.
Almost every wrestler, if not every wrestler, has an inspiration. But who is Colin's inspiration?
That is such an easy question. My mom. I know I spoke about her before, but she was the one that introduced me to wrestling, and she was the one that has been with me, like supporting me no matter what through my wrestling journey. She brought me to wrestling training the first night, and she was like, what are you doing? But she let me do it, and yeah, so my mom was the main reason why I became a wrestler and why I wanted to get into wrestling.
Every pro wrestler has started somewhere. But where and when did Colin start? And we need to go from now to the past.
I started wrestling professionally when I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school, and yeah, I was the youngest one at pro wrestling school. Everybody was kind of looking at me like, okay, you're gonna be a wrestler? Sure, great. And I did it, and I loved every second of it. It was really it was an awesome thing to do.
Well, you heard and saw Colin John O'Connell's story. And as you heard, he likes to inspire people. So going back to being a vlogger, what's one piece of advice he would give to people about starting YouTube?
I would say bet on yourself. Because if you don't bet on yourself, nobody's gonna bet on you. I would also say be your true, authentic self and tell that story. Nobody wants to watch a video where you're pretending to be somebody else, right? If I'm watching a piece of content, I'm watching it for you. I want to see who you are and what you have to offer, right? And this is sort of another thing that I think is super important is you can be motivated, but motivation will fade after a period of time. You could be motivated to go to the gym, right? And you hear it all the time about stories, people like New Year's resolutioners, right? They go to the gym for 2 weeks and then they don't come back to the gym. You have to adopt the lifestyle of being disciplined. And I say lifestyle because being motivated, it fades, right? It's a mindset that can come and go. But if you are disciplined, you always have that hustle mindset. So I would say bet on yourself and make sure that you're disciplined, because that's when you're gonna see real results.
Colin doesn't only inspire people who want to be on YouTube, but he also inspires people who want to be professional wrestlers. So what's one piece of advice he would give to people who want to be a professional wrestler?
My advice for YouTube My advice for pro wrestling, it's one and the same. Work hard, bet on yourself, because like I said, you know, if you don't bet on yourself, if you don't put in the hard work, if you're not willing to outwork every single other person that is, you know, trying to be a wrestler, trying to be a YouTuber, you're not going to get anywhere. So bet on yourself, outwork everybody, and just be yourself, man. Have fun. You know, that's kind of my main advice.
Alrighty, that's a wrap. Alrighty, we're done.
All done.